Hi guys, for those of you who don't know, my name is Helen. I also go by Lenny, and welcome back to my channel. So today I'm bringing you my everyday soft glam look. I have my beautiful model Ari, and if you guys would like to see how I got this look, then just keep on watching.
Alright guys, so starting off with the Fresh Rose Water Toner, I'm going to use this as her skin prep using an exfoliating pad. I'm going to get rid of all of the dead skin and just tone her skin so that way we can get it prepped for her makeup. For her serum, I'm going to be using the Good Molecules Hyaluronic Acid. I really enjoy using this serum. It's a really lightweight serum. It helps for really oily skin as well to just balance out the oils in her skin. So I just put a few drops on her skin and blend everything out with my brush. Sometimes I do it with my hands if I want to do like a skin massage, but as long as we apply it and make sure that it's completely blended into the skin, we are a-okay. And then to set in our serum, or to kind of top it, I used the Daily Lightweight Moisturizer, also from Good Molecules. It's lightweight for real, y'all. Like, it's super lightweight. I don't have to deal with any kind of greasy finish or feel on the skin. It's really soft, right? So I'm just going to go in with my fingers and I'm going to make sure that this is all pressed into her skin. I'm going to make sure that it's blended. We don't have any like patches where it's super greasy. Now for our primer, I'm going to be using the Milk Hydro Grip Primer. I really like this primer. This is like my go-to primer. I have a few primers, but I feel like I only really show this one on my page because it's just my favorite. The makeup just sticks really well to the foundation or the primer, so it doesn't move, and I like that, right? So I'm gonna just go ahead and use a little bit of loose powder to kind of dust on her brows to make sure we don't have any greasiness on her brows. And then I'm gonna go in with the Morphe Micro Brow Pencil in Chocolate Mousse. I'm gonna just use this pencil to kind of fill in her brows. I like to brush the brow hairs up, and then I kind of make my shape. I always tell my clients who come in for their one-on-ones to kind of frame your eyebrow and then fill it in. It's almost like coloring. You know how you would go in and trace the outline and then you would shade in with the pencil? That's exactly what we're doing here. So I like to make sure I just frame my brow, fill it in, and then I use my spoolie in between to kind of just make sure I'm pushing the product all the way through the brow, and that way it's not harsh. I don't have any gaps that I'm missing. I go in and fill the gaps with the pencil and just make sure that the brows look really natural. It should just look shaded in. I personally don't really like for my brows to look like makeup. I don't know if that even makes sense, y'all, but that's kind of like how I do brows. So I just kind of just fill them in naturally. So I'm going to be using two concealers for the brow cleanup. I'm going to first go in with the Too Faced Born This Way concealer in Chestnut. And I'm going to use this at the real high arch of the brow. This is just to keep it lifted and highlighted, and you guys are going to see slight differences, but I feel like it helps to just blend this look together. I am also going to use the Born This Way concealer in Chai, and that's where I'm going to use it closer to the inner part of the brow, so that way when I go in with my nose contour, it blends together. It's going to all make sense, y'all, I promise. I'm just placing that concealer all on her eyelid so that way we can get it prepped for eyeshadow, and it just saves me a step doing it all at the same time, right? So just gonna copy and do the other side. I'm trying to make this video as in-depth as possible for those looking to learn how to do my version of a soft glam. So yeah. Now going in with my concealer brush, I'm going to make sure that I blend this concealer out, okay? If I make any mistakes and kind of go into the brow, I just go back in with my flat brush and I just clean it up, okay? And then I'm going to use the One Size translucent powder to set her eyelids. And y'all, I keep realizing that I'm saying okay for everything and it's bothersome, and I'm going to stop. But I'm going to go ahead with the Juvia's Place bronzer in Cocoa, and I'm going to place this as her base for her soft glam look. This helps to get that brown to actually be in depth on the lid, especially for a dark skinned girl. Sometimes the browns can just look flat, So I like to use the bronzer first, and then I go in with the eyeshadow or the bronzer palette. I use bronzer palettes because it's easier. I'm going to be using it on her cheeks, so it's just going to blend in better, but any brown from any palette can work. That one was from my bronzer palette from Morphe, and I'm just going to go in and tap it in on her lid and blend it out. And if you guys pay attention, I'm also blending this on the brow area because we're gonna blend this in with her contour. I promise y'all it's gonna make sense. Okay, for her foundation, I'm going to be using the Dior Backstage Foundation in 7.5 neutral. Yes, that's the shade. And I'm going to just go ahead and tap this on with my flat brush, and then I'm gonna buff it in with a foundation brush. Now, when it comes to doing her forehead and we have her edges touching her brows, you have to be really careful with how you put on her foundation. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to use that flat brush, and I'm just going to kind of carve her brows at the top, so that way I can place her foundation there, and then go in with my foundation buffing brush to just touch the middle parts. Like, that's kind of the only way you can do it when the edges are like on the brows. So don't stress, you just gotta kind of find a way around it, y'all. So I'm gonna go back in with the Too Faced concealer in Chestnut, and this is what I'm gonna use to highlight her face. So placing this in the standard highlighted areas, I'm going to be using this under the eye, on her chin, on top of her lip, and down the nose and on her forehead. Okay, and placement is everything. I put majority of her concealer directly underneath her eyes, and then I kind of lift it upwards to kind of keep her face lifted. And when I'm doing her forehead concealer, I kind of carve the brows again, in a sense, because we now have two shades going. We have her foundation shade and her concealer shade, so you want to make sure that everything is being blended together, so that way when you like kind of like recarve it, that area, it's gonna make sense. You guys will see it. Okay, when I blend it, it all falls into place and it all looks seamless. Okay, I don't know how to truly explain it, but you guys will see it when it comes to her forehead. Now for contour, I'm going to be using the Juvia's Place foundation stick in Katiana, I believe that's how you pronounce it. If I am butchering this name, y'all let me know how to pronounce it. I don't like to get names wrong, but I'm going to just use this as her contour. I'm going to be using this in the hollows of her cheek, so right in between her cheekbone and her jawbone, there is a hollow part of her face. That's where you want to place her contour, and you do want to place it at an angle so her face still looks lifted. Okay, and then I'm just using a little bit of the foundation stick on her forehead and blending it into her lace as well. And y'all see what I meant about the forehead blending in with the concealer? Yeah, I know y'all see it. Seamless. It shouldn't look like there's a difference. Everything should be seamless. Now I'm just gonna go in with the Juvia's Place the blush, the liquid blush in Peachy Rose, and I'm gonna pop this on the high points of her cheeks in her blush area, so directly above where we place her bronzer, that stick foundation, we're going to place her blush, and it's going to sit more so on the apples of her cheek, going higher up into the corners of her eyes. And then you're just going to kind of blend that into her concealer. I did not finish blending her under eye concealer because I wanted it to kind of sit a little bit more, so that way it could be a little bit more full coverage. And I am a little bit more grateful that I did that. Okay, now I'm going to super brighten with the Too Faced concealer in Chestnut. I feel like I said chestnut earlier. I used chai earlier, and then now I'm using chestnut to really brighten her under eye. So I'm going to kind of place this directly underneath her eye, so that way we can keep it nice and bright. And then I'm going to put a little bit down her nose. So now I'm just going to fully blend out those concealer areas, so that way it's going to give us the coverage we need, and it's going to be bright. And here is where the drama started, y'all. Baby girl is so teary. I love Ari, but Ari gave me a hard time today, okay, y'all? She's a super teary girl, but I'm going to show y'all how to deal with teary eye clients. You guys will be okay, because we did it, and she still looked amazing. So, yeah. So to set her face, I'm going to be going in with the One Size Sweet Honey Loose Powder, and I'm going to use this only in the areas where I concealed because it is a little lighter. I want to use this to set only in areas that we've made bright, right? I don't like going in with a darker powder because everything that you just brightened, you lost, okay? And I'm normally a loose powder pressed powder girl, okay? I switched it up today, and I'm going to show you guys how I use a darker powder to set the rest of the face, but not the highlighted areas. So I'm not baking her skin right now. Right now, I'm just doing a light set. I want to make sure that we're just setting all the areas so that way they're not likely to crease while we're talking, while we're moving, while they're blinking. You just want to make sure that everything is kind of set in place, and then we'll do a bake after we do our contour and bronzer areas. Now to set the rest of her face, I'm going to go in with the deep translucent powder from Laura Mercier, and I'm just going to set the rest of her face, y'all. So I'm going to go in with a little bit of this powder and set all the areas that we did not conceal, and then I'm going to go in with bronzer for contour. I only really use bronzer palettes for my contour, so I'm using the Morphe palette, and I'm just going to go in and place it right on top of the areas that we've contoured her face. And y'all see how the face is sitting? It is giving, y'all. Her skin is lovely. She's beautiful. I love Ari. She's gorgeous, and I feel like this glam really suits her face. Now to bake, I'm going to go back in with that Sweet Honey powder, and I'm just placing this underneath her eyes, and I'll trace a little bit along her jaw. So right now I'm just baking underneath the eyes, so that way when we go back in, everything looks snatched, okay? So I'm going to be using the Laura Mercier deep translucent powder along her jaw, and this is just going to help lift her face, give a little bit of a reverse contour. It's just going to make her contoured areas look a little darker. Now y'all, this is when it got tricky. So I'm going in with the NYX liner, black gel liner, and I'm just going to try to line her eyes. And I kept a lot of this film in for you guys so that way you can see in real time how I had to like kind of deal with teary eyes, and this is what you're gonna typically have to do. So first things first, you want to just kind of like catch those tears if you can. It was a struggle, I'm not gonna lie, and it's like once I thought it got better, it got worse until it got better again. So right now I'm just catching the tears. I'm gonna make sure that I get this glam done. We're getting this done, okay? You see it, y'all see it. And she was crying some fat tears, y'all. She was crying some fat tears, but it's okay, we're gonna get it done. So I'm just gonna make sure I align both of her eyes, and I did the other eye, and y'all see it. She knew she messed me up. She was like, I'm sorry. Y'all see that tear just all in the crease line, so y'all know the foundation, the concealer, everything lifted, okay? And this is when I regretted doing her face first and her eyes last, but we gonna fix it, okay? Now I'm gonna go in with the NYX Epic Ink liner in black, and I'm literally just tight lining her eyes. I'm not a big wing person. I don't like doing wing. I'll do it every once in a while, but it's not my thing. Go to somebody else. So sorry. I'll do it, but not really. I don't like it. But I'm just gonna go in and just tight line her eyes, and it's just a simple black line, so that way when we put her lashes on, they are seamless with her real lashes. So this is when I started to fix it. I probably should have waited, and I will tell you guys to wait until you're completely done with the eyes before you try and fix it. So basically what I did, I waited until it was completely dry, and then I went in with a little bit of her concealer and I just tapped it on. And I don't know why I thought she was done crying. Like, I really thought we were done, because I was like, okay, mascara is not too bothersome to the eye, neither is like smoking out underneath the eye, but I was wrong. But it's okay. Just don't do too many touch-ups, because you can make it look cakey. I'm really grateful that it didn't look super cakey, but just wait until you are completely done with the eyes, mascara on, lashes on, everything, before you fix the under eye. And this is me finally showing y'all what lashes I be using. I've been telling y'all I've been getting them from my lash vendor for forever, but I have not shown y'all the lashes in the kit. This is the lash for my lash. Don't be like me, but y'all see that it's not that bad of a fix. Once you have her face completely dry, you can go back in and fix her under eye. The problem is Ari don't like nobody touching her eyes, or her eyes don't like nobody touching her eyes, because as soon as I fixed it, a tear came right back and I said, dang, this is rude. It was so rude. Her eyes were so disrespectful to me, y'all, but we got it under control after a while. It took a little minute. And yeah, she cried fat tears. So at this point, I was just like, you know what? We gonna leave that eye alone. Let's do the other eye. Let's fix it. And then I just eventually left both eyes alone. And I said, I'm just gonna finish your face. And then at the very end is when I went and fixed everything together. Cause yeah, she just kept crying. So now I'm going to go in with the KKAO Beauty blush, and I'm going to be using that pink in that palette. I love these blushes. These blushes work for all of the baddies. They're gorgeous. Like, I want another palette set. And then I'm going to go in with the Charlotte Tilbury finishing powder. I'm using the one in dark, and I'm just going to use this to set her eye. Y'all see me going back in with a Q-tip because she started crying again. It was stressful, y'all. Now to set her face, I'm going to go in with the Morphe Continuous Setting Spray. I'm just going to lock in her makeup. And it also helped because I had so much powder underneath her eyes after trying to fix it 37 times. But as you guys can see, make sure the teary eyes are dry. Then you can go in with a little bit of concealer and then set it with some powder. And make sure you go in with a little bit of concealer. You don't need a lot. Now just to fill in her brows, I'm going to set her brows with the Brow Freeze from Anastasia. Just so that way they look polished and they are groomed. Yeah. Now for her lip, I'm going to use 2 lip liners. I'm going to go in with the Morphe I'm using Richie first. I'm using the Richie lip liner from Morphe to outline her lips. This one is a little darker so that way we can make sure that she's getting that ombre effect. And then I'm going to go in with the Trendsetter lip liner, and I'm going to fill in the outline just slightly though. So I'm just going to do the outline, then fill it in with the Trendsetter lip liner. And then I'm going to use I keep calling these the Cream Rouge lipsticks from Sephora. Y'all just be letting me say anything. They are satin lipsticks, okay? They are the satin lipsticks from Sephora. And I'm using the shade 75. And I'm just popping this in the middle of her lip. Y'all see how it blends with the Richie and Trendsetter? Yeah, it's going to give her that sexy ombre lip. And then I'm just going to go in with my lip brush and kind of blend these colors together. Now to top her lip, I'm going to go in with the Fenty Beauty lip gloss, the Gloss Bomb in Sweet Mouth. And I'm just going to top this all over her mouth to give her that glossy finish. Now for my second set, I'm going to use the Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush Setting Spray. And this is really what's going to lock in her skin. I like to do a multiple set because it really just makes the makeup melt into the skin. And one kind of melts the makeup, the other one sets it and locks it in place. So yeah, this is the final look on her beautiful soft glam with Ari. If you guys like this look, please like, comment, and subscribe. Tell me what more you would like to see. I appreciate you guys for watching. I love you guys. Bye.